I'm here at Avondale Cemetery in Flint. This is one of Michigan's oldest cemeteries. It has a rich history and some restless spirits. Let's go check it out. Avondale Cemetery has been around since 1842. Flint wasn't even a city yet. There's a line of cemeteries that were along what is now Chavez Drive. Next to the cemeteries was a farm. During the early years of the Civil War, the farm became a training ground for the Union soldiers. Named Camp Thompson after Colonel Edward Thompson, who organized the Flint 10th Cavalry, the camp was abandoned when the Union soldiers went south to fight the war. Old City Cemetery was located on the corner of what is now Chavez Drive and Richfield Road. By the 1950s, trash and overgrown weeds have overtaken the cemetery, and it was all but abandoned. The city decided to redevelop the land. The property was sold to Albert J. Kurtz in 1958. The remaining bodies of the Old City Cemetery were reburied in Avondale along with 122 markers. The prominent citizens of Flint had been buried at the city cemetery was moved to Glenwood Cemetery on Court Street. This left the middle and lower class to be moved around to other local cemeteries. Around 1,200 remains were re-entered at the new Flint City Cemetery. Around 925 of those remains were unknowns. Bodies have been buried on top of each other, and remains exhumed were actually wearing buckskins. The section of the gravestones that were moved inside Avondale Cemetery is known as Pioneers Row. The stones are arranged in two close together rows in a way that suggests, unfortunately, that the stones and bones may not correspond with each other. As Flint began to grow and prosper, they moved the founding fathers to other cemeteries, and that's where life truly imitates art. A hotel chain bought the land. With a new amusement park being developed, Auto World, the chain was expecting good return on the investment. In 1985, the remains of more than 24 bodies were found during the construction in the basement of the Hampton Inn, now the Holiday Inn Express. In an article in the Flint Journal in June 1985, wrote an article called Grave Problem. The journal's staff writer wrote, 8 grave sites, including several skeletons, were found during the excavation of the Hampton Inn construction site. In a later article, the Flint Journal stated that a mass rite for the bodies, 19 adults and 5 children, were performed and were reburied to the Flint City Cemetery after the health officials checked for any possible contamination. Rumors swirl that Albert J. Kurtz, who purchased the old cemetery property, just moved the grave markers to Avondale, which means that the remains of some of the Flint's earliest residents may still be lost under the Flint buildings and parking lots. Unfortunately, Kurtz passed away a while ago and took his secrets to the grave. Who do the remains found under the hotel belong to? Do they belong to the grave markers in Avondale or other cemeteries that would match the bodies of the tombstones?
You son of a bitch! You moved the cemetery, but you left the bodies, didn't you? You son of a bitch! You left the bodies and you only moved the headstones! You only moved the headstones! Why? Why?
After the hotel was constructed, people started to report strange occurrences and ghostly visions. One common phenomenon is at the location is lost power with no known cause. Lights go out and electrical devices are suddenly drained of power. People hear voices and see shadowy figures walking down the halls. One figure has been spotted often in the second floor. Some employees claim that doors open and close by themselves. Employees that work in the lobby get phone calls. When they go investigate, there's nobody in the room. There's quite a bit of history in these old cemeteries. Maybe there's an urban legend or haunted history in your neck of the woods. I encourage you to go look. This is Matt Woodbury from Papa Zero. Take care and God bless.
Population of shit.